Picture yourself 40 years from now. Be honest, does that person feel like you, or does it feel like a stranger you're vaguely responsible for? Neuroscientists have actually tested this, and for most people, the brain activity when thinking about your future self looks almost identical to the brain activity when thinking about a completely different person. That single glitch in your head is quietly costing the average person hundreds of thousands of dollars. Temporal discounting, the glitch that's costing you your retirement. Here's the mechanism working against you every single time you decide whether to save or spend. Your brain systematically undervalues rewards that are far away in time. And it doesn't do this a little, it does it dramatically. $1 today can feel worth $2 or $3 compared to the exact same dollar promised decades from now. Even though mathematically, that's obviously false. Quick fact that should bother you. In brain imaging studies, when people are asked to think about their future selves, the regions associated with self-identity often show weaker activation than when they think about their present self. Comparable, in some studies, to how the brain responds when thinking about a stranger entirely. Meet Tyler and Reese. Both are 25. Both just landed their first real jobs earning $60,000 a year. Both get the exact same advice from a coworker on day one. Start putting $300 a month into an index fund now, and thank yourself later. Tyler barely thinks about it. It's $300, less than his monthly streaming subscriptions and takeout combined. That night, he sets up an automatic transfer into a simple low-cost index fund. He doesn't feel like he's doing anything dramatic. He's just clicking a few buttons. Reese means to do the exact same thing. She even opens the account. But retirement is 4 decades away, and this month there's a security deposit on a new apartment. And next month there's a friend's wedding, and the month after that, it just doesn't come up again. Not because she decided against it. It simply never felt urgent enough to beat whatever felt more immediate. Here's what's important. Reese never once decided not to invest. That's not how this trap works. It works through an endless series of not yets, each one individually reasonable, that quietly add up to a decade. 10 years pass. Tyler is now 35, still contributing his $300 a month, barely thinking about it. It's just a line item he stopped noticing years ago. Reese is also now 35, and finally, prompted by a milestone birthday and a slightly uncomfortable conversation with her older sister, she opens that same investment account and starts contributing the same $300 a month. On paper, right now, in this exact moment, Tyler and Reese look almost identical. Same age, same income trajectory, same $300 a month going into the same kind of fund. The only difference between them is a single number most people would consider trivial: 10 years. Let's run this all the way out to age 65, assuming a conservative average annual return of 8%, which is roughly in line with long-term stock market history. Tyler has been contributing for 40 years by that point. Reese has been contributing for 30. Same monthly amount, same fund. Just a different starting line. Tyler's account, compounding for the full 40 years, grows to approximately $1,048,000. Just over $1 million, built entirely from $300 a month in time. Reese's account, compounding for 30 years at the exact same contribution and the exact same return, grows to approximately $447,000. Still a genuinely impressive result from consistent investing, but less than half of Tyler's total, from 10 fewer years of the exact same habit. Let that sit for a second. The total difference in what either of them actually contributed out of pocket over those years is just $36,000. 10 years of Tyler's $300 monthly habit. But the gap in their final balances is over $600,000. That's the real brutal exchange rate on procrastination. $36,000 of delayed contributions turned into a $600,000 gap, entirely through the compounding Reese's money never got the chance to do. Here's the part that makes this even harder to swallow. If Reese wanted to close that gap and retire with the same amount as Tyler, She can't just contribute the same $300 a month for a few extra years. To reach Tyler's $1,048,000 by age 65 using only her remaining 30 years, she'd need to contribute roughly $700 a month, more than double her original amount, for the entire rest of her working life, just to make up for 10 years she can't get back. This is the one detail that makes this different from almost every other financial mistake on this channel. You can renegotiate a mortgage, refinance a loan, switch banks. You cannot buy back 10 years of compounding. It's the one resource in personal finance that's genuinely, permanently non-negotiable. So why does this happen to genuinely smart, capable people? This is where temporal discounting connects to something deeper. Researchers who study this describe it as treating your future self as a different person entirely, almost like a stranger you happen to be financially responsible for. When Reese postponed investing at 25, she wasn't being irresponsible toward herself. Psychologically, it barely registered as herself at all. It felt more like being asked to make a sacrifice for someone she'd never actually met. To be clear, this isn't a character flaw, and it isn't unique to Reese. It's such a consistent, well-documented pattern across humans generally, that entire fields of behavioral economics are built around designing systems that work around it, rather than expecting people to simply overcome it through willpower. There's a third person worth mentioning here, a mutual friend of Tyler and Reese's named Maya, who also started at 25, but she never opened an account at all. Not out of any dramatic decision, just the same endless, not yet, that started with Reese, except Maya's never resolved. By 65, assuming she starts putting away that same $300 a month starting today, decades later than either of her friends, her account would need a return well beyond realistic averages just to approach where Tyler already is. Quick gut check. Are you closer to Tyler, Reese, or Maya right now? Be honest, most people watching this are closer to one of the last two than they'd like to admit. Here's where the psychology research actually offers something useful. Since the core problem is that your future self doesn't feel real to your brain, the fix is making that future self feel more concrete, not more distant. Studies on this have found that something as simple as looking at an age-progressed image of your own face measurably increases how much people choose to save in the same experiment. When the future self stops looking like a stranger and starts looking like, specifically, recognizably, you, the discounting effect weakens. Second tool, and the one that actually worked for Tyler even though he never consciously thought about any of this psychology. Automate the contribution before your in-the-moment brain ever gets a vote. Tyler didn't win because he had more willpower than Reese. He won because he removed the decision entirely, on day one, before procrastination had anything to attach itself to. Third tool. If $300 a month feels too big a commitment to start today, then feeling itself is the trap talking. Behavioral researchers consistently find that starting with a genuinely small amount, even $25 or $50 a month, and increasing it gradually gets far more people to actually begin than waiting until they feel financially ready for the real number. Fourth tool. Use a specific commitment device, like automatically directing a fixed percentage of every future raise into retirement savings, before you ever see the extra income in checking. A well-documented strategy that sidesteps the psychology entirely because you're committing your future self's money in advance, while your present self barely notices the sacrifice. Notice that none of these four tools require you to simply want it more, or think about your future self harder. That's the whole point. This trap doesn't respond well to willpower. It responds to systems that don't need willpower in the first place. Your brain genuinely processes your future self more like a stranger than like you. And that's why saving for a decades-away retirement feels so much harder than it should. Logically, 10 years of delay turned a $36,000 gap in contributions into a $600,000 gap in final results. You cannot buy back lost compounding time. It's the one truly non-negotiable resource in personal finance. Making your future self feel more concrete, automating contributions immediately, starting small and committing future raises in advance are all proven ways to work around the psychology instead of fighting it head-on. Tyler, Reese, and Maya all had access to the exact same information, the exact same advice, on the exact same day. The only real difference between $1 million retirement and a stressful one isn't intelligence or income. It's how early you manage to make your future self feel real enough to actually invest in. If this changed how you think about your own, not yet, subscribe. Every week we run the real psychology and the real math behind the financial decisions that quietly shape your life. Be honest, are you Tyler, Reese, or Maya right now? Drop your answer below.